This story is called Prince Val E. Ant. Prince Val E. Ant knew very well he was late. Rapunzel was always telling him she didn't care if his stallion was spent, he must be climbing her hair by dusk. Rapunzel seemed to be under the constant impression that he was madly in love with her, perhaps because she was most obviously in love with him. Val only came to her every night because his father insisted that visiting damsels in distress was excellent for the royal image. The tower where Rapunzel was kept was just about a minute away now. Val cringed at the thought of the whiny reprimanding he would surely receive as soon as he entered the tower's clearing. At long last, Prince Valiant arrived at the tower, tied his steed to a large oak, took a deep breath, and started his usual chant, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Only this time he only got as far as "Rat." The prince had halted his cry, because he heard a voice that was not the whiny drone of Rapunzel's. It wasn't the witch, but far sweeter than anything he'd ever known. The trill of angels could not compete. What Val heard was a beautifully concocted song, sung by the most delightful voice ever to be found. Then the tune was cut off. Prince Valiant was devastated. The annoying whine that broke the perfect melody was unmistakably Rapunzel. Val was immediately filled with contempt for the hateful Rapunzel, and was so filled with it and wonder for the mystery maiden that he almost forgot to listen in to what they were saying. At once he tuned in, and what he heard was this: "Now, you can't sing it like that." Sorry, apologized the mystery maiden. This mystery will torture me no longer, the prince resolved, and with that he called with all his might, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, please, please, please let down your hair." A second later, Rapunzel appeared at the window with a smile that showed all her rotten teeth. Her grin disappeared as she remembered to scold. "You're late! What force would you possibly let you keep you from me?" As she said this, she gestured to herself, and her rotten mouth screwed up in Rapunzel's version of a smile, making her eyelashless eyes even more beady. Val sighed, trying to keep his disgust for her out of it, though he didn't think he succeeded. Neither Prince Val E. Ant nor Rapunzel said another word as she let down her greasy brown hair. The unknown girl, paired with the difficulty of climbing up the oiliest hair in the world, and the fact that Rapunzel wouldn't stop complaining and shrieking and whining on and on, made it exceedingly difficult to haul him up the tower. Finally he made it up the tower, where the moment his head cleared the window he was immediately wildly searching for the mystery girl. And suddenly there she was, the perfect opposite of Rapunzel, with her short bouncy curls that could only be described as ebony, blood-red lips, and snow-white complexion. She was without a doubt the most beautiful being Val had ever encountered. She was also most obviously the notoriously sweet Snow White. Somewhere at the back of his brain, Val knew that Rapunzel was screaming at them to stop looking at each other like that. Both Val and Snow White were indeed staring at each other with the most potent of curiosity and wonder. When the prince came back to his senses, he leapt from his precarious perch on the window-sill and breathed, "Please, if you are who I think you are Snow White. In any case, will you marry me tomorrow?" "You know, that would be nice, but how do I put this gently? See, I don't really know you. But, you seem like a nice guy. I mean, I'm not saying no." I shall have to inform my father that despite his strong beliefs, his technique in asking maidens to marry one doesn't always work, for I can see that it is most certainly not working with you." To this, Snow White replied with a smile, "Let's chat, and that will tell us whether we fancy each other or not." Yeah, okay, I can do that." Prince Val E. Ant and Snow White conversed a while longer before they remembered Rapunzel. Val sighed and turned to Rapunzel, who was now grumbling and snuffling in a corner, and stated bluntly, "You are annoying. You are not beautiful, and I do not love you, but I do wish you would come live at the castle as a high lady of court." Rapunzel refused, choosing the path of dignity while waiting for the correct prince to find her. And so Prince Val E. Ant and Snow White piled on to Val's stallion. Epilogue. Snow White was soon the princess of the land, and Val continued to occasionally visit Rapunzel, just as friends. In the end they all lived happily ever after, except for Val's noble steed, who was eternally exhausted from all the times he had carried Val to see Rapunzel, not to mention the addition of Snow White on his back.